So we're going to talk about mapping mangroves, and when you're mapping mangroves, you need to think about what the question is you're asking. That question could be, are the mangroves healthy? Are the mangroves changing? Are we losing mangroves? Are we gaining mangroves? You may be monitoring a restoration activity. And these questions can be monitored using remote sensing techniques. Now, there are many different platforms you can use when you're doing remote sensing of mangroves. You can use satellites, which cover a really large area. You could use airplanes, which can cover a smaller area, or you could use drones, which are really suited for small monitoring plots. Now, when you're asking your question, you need to think about, what type of resolution do I need? Do I need that centimeter resolution? You don't necessarily need that all that time. It all depends on your question. You also need to ask yourself the question, what sensor do I need to use? Does it need to have infrared? If I'm looking at vegetation health, you typically need to have an infrared sensor, or one that senses not just the RGB bands, the red, green, blue, but also the infrared. Now let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of drones. What's nice about a small multi-rotor drone like this is it's very compact, it's very transportable. It's easy to launch and to land on a boat. It's very maneuverable. You can hover, you can track things, but it's very noisy. Sometimes, with a small one like this, you can't attach much to it. But you can get larger multi-rotor drones that are very suited for handling heavier payload. LiDAR sensors or hyperspectral sensors or multispectral sensors that are heavier. One of the disadvantages is that they can't cover much of an area. They usually don't stay in the air very long. There's a lot of moving parts, potential for those parts breaking down.